Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Thursday, 1st May 2025, Labor Day in most countries around the world, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. People's National Movement to select an opposition leader in the House of Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. As the General Council of the People's National Movement PNM prepared to meet on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025, some members have already made up their minds on the direction for the party's leadership. K. Marie Fletcher of CNC3 News reports.
As one party heads to the Whitehall, another will be heading to Balize House to decide who will become the next opposition leader following Monday's defeat. But with only about 13 MPs making up the opposition, the options are slim. Some members of PNM's General Council believe before the opposition leader is chosen, the current political leader must go.
There is a General Council meeting tomorrow, and therefore the General Council would take the necessary decisions. Not no political leader, especially the current political leader. He needs to resign and go. He has to resign and go and play golf, spend time with his family as he said, and allow the General Council, allow the party to engage in a discussion, in a discourse to determine who will be our opposition leader in Parliament. That's the first thing.
But when asked how he feels about the backlash and calls for his resignation, an unfazed Dr. Rowley told CSC3 News it comes with the territory. With Rowley out and Stuart Young's chances looking grim based on feedback from some PNM stalwarts, it's down to the remaining MPs like Penelope Beckles, Dr. Nian Gaspidoli, Camille Robinson-Regis, and Brian Manning. When CNC3 News spoke to Manning, he said he's ready to serve.
I'm always ready to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and that the good members of the People's National Movement will decide who will be the executive members and leaders going forward. Now is the time for introspection, for us to really listen to what the electorate has said and is saying, and for us to reconsider the way we do things within the People's National Movement. We have to become a lot more sensitive.
Efforts to contact the other MPs were futile, but Baptiste Primus believes it may be time for a female to lead the PNM.
As a woman who have smashed many glass ceilings in my life, I would be delighted if a female is to be our new opposition leader.
K. Marie Fletcher, CNC3 News.
It was a stunning defeat that sent shockwaves through the People's National Movement PNM. Just 4 hours after polls closed, party leader Dr. Keith Rowley conceded what he called a surprising loss in the April 28th general election, one that saw the PNM surrender nearly half its seats. CNC3's Darius Polo was at Balize House where the bruised but hopeful party executive formally conceded.
The results are coming in now, and from what we have coming into Balize House, it is clear at this time that we have lost the election.
Polls closed at 6 p.m. yesterday, but it took the People's National Movement just 4 hours to concede the election with what Dr. Keith Rowley called a surprising defeat.
We went out there and competed for the position, and the population clearly from Tobago to Point Fortin, the population has chosen the package of promises made by our political opponents.
Moments later, the reason behind the PNM's early concession became clear. The party had lost 9 of its 22 constituencies.
If you want to put all the blame on my shoulder, we're not in the blaming business here. We are in the rebuilding business.
Despite preparations to host a large crowd, only a handful of supporters turned up at Balizi House. Among those present, some placed the blame squarely on the political leader.
What I see is a lot of burden put on short young through the neglect of Dr. Rowley to the people, especially the black people.
But Dr. Rowley has stood firm on his decision.
Even though tonight is not the result you were looking for, I see very many good possibilities in what we have done. So I have no regrets in supporting him.
Kareem Marcel was one of the few candidates to visit Balizi House, where he openly acknowledged the party's shortcomings.
We would have appointed a prime minister whilst having, of course, a political leader separate and apart. And we stepped into a new and an unfamiliar territory, and we will learn from those mistakes.
The PNM now turns its focus to tomorrow, when the General Council will meet to decide who will lead them in opposition. Dr. Rowley does not intend to hold the leadership beyond 2025, and is prepared to step down sooner if asked, to allow for the hosting of a national convention as they seek to regain their supporters' confidence.
Tomorrow is another day, all right? And one thing we know how to do is to fight for country. That is what we will do from here. All right? You all get ready, and I look forward to be there with you all, as I've done, and we will fight hard for Trinidad and Tobago.
While disappointment runs deep, party members are holding on to hope. Doris Polo, CNC3 News.
With the United National Congress, UNC, now at the helm of government, the business community is eager to grow economic relations. Gisha Colazar Alonso tells us more in this edition of CNC3 Business Watch.
As congratulations continue to pour in from the business community on the UNC's election victory, stakeholders are eager to get down to business. Noah Terari, CEO of the American Chamber of Commerce of Trinidad and Tobago, says it remains committed to being a strong partner to the government in pursuit of a better TNT.
We stand ready to work alongside the new government to advance policies that will stimulate economic revitalization, drive investment, and foster sustainable growth. We are particularly eager to collaborate on strengthening both the traditional and renewable energy industries, expanding the tech sector and digital economy, and creating a more enabling environment for business through meaningful reforms to improve the ease of doing business.
Tuari emphasizes that the number one priority of the government has to be reducing crime. He says this is a critical element in restoring investor and public confidence. And the president of the Greater San Fernando Area Chamber of Commerce, Kiran Singh, also shares his expectations as he welcomes Dr. Michael Dowlat, the new MP for San Fernando West.
We look forward to the plans that he has for the continuing development of the waterfront. As we know, that is a new economic frontier for the southern area of Trinidad, and that is the impetus that we need to generate revenue for downtown San Fernando as well.
Singh adds the chamber is also looking forward to Dr. Dowlat's plans on revitalizing the downtown shopping district of San Fernando.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The incoming government of Trinidad and Tobago is being urged to push ahead with laws for campaign financing. TTT's Sunil Lala reports on the observations of the Commonwealth Observer Mission to the recently concluded general election.
The Commonwealth Observer Group said this has been its plea, which dates back a decade ago, and wants the next government to make it a priority. Sunil Lala tells us more.
Let me be blunt. It's interesting that in this case, both major parties here seem to agree not to put it on the agenda.
In his pre-election meeting with both major political parties, Chair of the Commonwealth Observer Group, Everest Bartolo, said they did not show much interest in pushing the agenda of campaign financing. He said their response took somewhat of a diplomatic answer.
The response of politicians. Yes, we are considering it. Yes, we took it to Parliament. Yes, there was the joint committee.
Mr. Bartolo also responded to a question as to why the parties may be unwilling to do so.
Well, usually the turkeys do not like Christmas. What is important is that there is pressure on making political parties go for campaign financing.
He urged the public to mount pressure since the political parties would not voluntarily engage in such a process.
This is an area where the media, I think, and where civil society have to put pressure on the political parties, because political parties, especially the main political parties in any country, I'm not talking about Trinidad and Tobago only, do not have the interest to do it. So it's important that citizens take the initiative to force political parties to do it.
And he said it's not a new call by the Observer Group, pointing out that the same group issued a similar one following the 2015 general election in TNT.
10 years ago, this group, made up of different people, obviously, recommended that the incoming parliament, political parties, and all relevant stakeholders prioritize this process of regulating campaign financing.
But Mr. Bartolo noted that this is not an issue solely affecting Trinidad and Tobago.
That unfortunately, Trinidad and Tobago is not the only jurisdiction, is not the only parliamentary democracy where campaign financing has not been regulated for the political parties. So you have regulation for the candidates, but not for the parties. And we think it's in the interest of democracy worldwide, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, not just in the Commonwealth.
The Commonwealth Observer Group leaves the country on May 5th. Sonolala, TTT News.
In the meantime, the chair of the Commonwealth Observer Group said more transparency on election boundaries are needed.
The Commonwealth Observer Group is urging the Elections and Boundaries Commission, the EBC, to consult widely and improve the transparency when redrawing boundaries in constituencies. A total of 16 constituencies faced boundary changes by the EBC for the 2025 parliamentary elections, while there were name changes to 5 constituencies. Speaking at a media conference on Tuesday, chair of the Commonwealth Observer Group, Everest Bartolo, said it was imperative that this be conducted in a more transparent process in the future.
We were being asked to go and vote. New places together, they had been all the time. For example, they would have participated in 8 different elections and always voted in one place. And they were now going to be asked to vote in another place. That was the cause of concern. But having said that, we know of no case where we observed where those people who felt disoriented and confused did not then vote. They did go to the new place and they voted. And that is what is important.
However, he applauded and commended the move by the EBC to weed out those who should not be on the list of electors.
There is a recommendation now and we discussed this even with the EBC, to weed out from the register those who are not eligible to vote. And that exercise has started and needs to be continued. So if there are people on the register who shouldn't be there, should be removed. But what would have been worrying is that people who are on the register and shouldn't be there and vote. If they are there and do not vote, that is already a step forward.
The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service says there were no major incidents disrupting the 2025 general election voting process. Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin expressed pride in the officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service for having presided over an incident-free general election period. Terry and Brown Campbell of TTT News has that story.
Reporting on the process one day after the April 28 general election, Acting Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin said the election process was conducted in a peaceful, safe and orderly manner. Expressing pride in his officers, the acting commissioner said the election followed months of intense national duty for the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, beginning with the imposition of the state of emergency on December 30th, 2024, through the Carnival 2025 celebrations and into an intense political campaign season. The TTPS reported there were only 2 incidents of note on Election Day: a homicide which was unconnected with the polls, and an individual who was held in possession of 30,000 Trinidad and Tobago dollars in the Mount Lambert area. An investigation is underway as to what that individual was doing at the time of his arrest with that large amount of cash. Terry Ann Brown Campbell, TTT News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.